Hello children, welcome to the geography class. The lesson that I will continue today is lesson number 15, transport, given on page number 273 of your textbook. With the following objectives, you will come to know about the Indian Railways, type of railway gauge, railway management, railway zones, progress of Indian Railways, advantages of Indian Railways, disadvantages of Indian Railways, problems of Indian Railways. Now let us have an introduction to railways. Indian Railway is India's national railway system. It is operated by the Ministry of Railways. The first railway line in India was laid between Bombay to Thane in 1853, dedicated to Lord Dalhousie. Indian Railway is the fourth largest railway network in the world with 1.2 lakh total track. 49% of railway routes in India are electrified and 33% are multi-track. The Indian Railways carry passengers as well as goods from one place to another place. Railways facilitate the movement of a very large number of people, quantum of goods from one place to another. Railways are the principal mode for bulky goods and passengers. The total railway network in India is 65,000 plus kilometer. Railways are very helpful in the development of Indian agriculture. It is one of the preferred modes of transport when the distance to be covered is very long. Goods trains carry the largest amount of heavy and bulky raw materials and finished products across the length and breadth of the country. Goods trains carry the heavy materials like cement, food grains, fertilizers, heavy machinery, automobiles, etc. Now before proceeding further, let us go through various technical terms which will be covered in our today's topic. Number 1, gauge. Gauge is the difference between rails. Number 2, broad gauge. Broad gauge is a railway gauge which is 1.676 meter wide and is mainly laid in the plains. For example, Sialdah, Delhi, Duronto, the fastest long distance running train. Meter gauge, a railway gauge which is 1 meter wide and is mainly laid in the deltas and deserts like in northern UP, Bihar, Assam, parts of western Rajasthan, Gujarat, etc. Narrow gauge. Narrow gauge is a railway gauge which is 0.762 meter wide and is mainly laid in the mountainous regions like Kalka Shimla, Siliguri, Darjeeling. Now let us read the Indian Railways from your textbook. Open your book on page number 277. Indian Railways IR is India's national railway system operated by the Ministry of Railways. You can see in this picture the logo of the Indian Railways. The first railway line was laid between Bombay and Thane in 1853. Children, it was built by the Great India Peninsula Company. It is a 21-mile long route from Boribundir, now known as the Victoria Terminus, in Bombay to Thane. It was started in 16th April 1853 when India's first passenger train ran between Boribundir, that is Victoria Terminus, in Mumbai to Thane on 16th April 1853. After that, rail service have developed a lot. It manages the fourth largest railway network in the world by size with 1.2 lakh of total track. 49% of the routes are electrified while 33% are multi-track, that is they are having number of tracks. Now our next topic is type of railway gauges. The railway gauges were designed during the colonial period, that is when India was under the Britishers, keeping in mind the volume of traffic and the movement of goods in different areas of the country. Indian Railway currently has 3 different gauges. Number 1, broad gauge. Broad gauge is the gauge which is 1.676 meter wide. It is mostly used in the plain areas. meter gauge. It is 1 meter wide. It is mostly used in deserts and deltas. Narrow gauge, it has a width of 0.76 meter wide. It is mostly used in hilly areas. Now let us read these gauges in detail. Broad gauge is used in most part of the country. It has mainly installed to connect the major ports with the other cities to facilitate the export of raw materials to Britain by ships. All the important mail, express, Rajdhani, Shatabdi runs on these tracks and it connects all the important cities of India. Accounting to about 50% of the total route length, broad gauge track links the major cities in the country. For example, Sialdah Delhi Duronto is the fastest long distance train. It runs non-stop from source to destination. That is from its starting point to its final place where it has to reach. Meter gauge is mainly used in northern UP, Bihar, Assam and parts of western Rajasthan, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. I have already told you, as its name suggests, it is 1 meter wide. Then we have narrow gauge. Narrow gauge was used in mountainous regions of Kalka, Shimla, Siliguri, Darjeeling, Uttarakhand or Ooty. However, after independence, the Government of India decided to convert all the gauges into broad gauge to facilitate transport of goods and general traffic. And now, most probably, Indian government is successful to convert narrow gauges into meter gauges and meter gauges into broad gauge. During the last few decades, that is a period of 10 years, efforts have been made to replace most of the meter and narrow gauge tracks by broad gauge, as it is much more convenient and comfortable for the public, as the public has not to change again and again from one track to another track. Now this is the picture of meter gauge and narrow gauge. Now let us go through the railway management. This is the logo of the railway management, that is Indian Railway Conference Association, that is IRCA. The railways are managed by the Railway Board with its headquarters at New Delhi. The network of Indian Railways is divided into 16 zones for the better management. These are subdivided into divisions. These divisions form the main operating unit for the Indian Railways. Now, railway management, let us read it from your book. The entire railway system is managed by the Railway Board. The railway network has been divided into 16 railway zones which are subdivided into divisions. I have already told you that the railways are managed by IRCA, that is Indian Railway Conference Association. These divisions form the basic operating units for the Indian Railways. Now, railway zones. The network of Indian Railways is divided into the following 16 zones. We will see this 16 zones through map in next slide. Konkan Railway among them is constituted as a separate zone and is a corporated railway, which means that its affairs are managed by Board of Directors, investors and IRCTC. It comes under the control of the Railway Ministry. Now let us see these 16 railway zones through map. The network of Indian Railways is divided into 16 zones as numbered in this map from 1 to 16. And now the newly constituted railway has been named as 17th zone and known as Konkan Railway. The first zone is the Northern Railways. Its headquarters is at New Delhi. Zone number 2, Northeastern Railways, headquarters Gorakhpur. Zone number 3, Northeast Frontier Railway, headquarters Guwahati. Zone number 4, Eastern Railways, headquarters Kolkata. Zone number 5, in South East, headquarters at Kolkata. Then zone number 6, South Central Railways, headquarters at Secunderabad. Zone number 7, Southern Railways, headquarters at Chennai. Zone number 8, Central Railways, headquarters at Mumbai. Zone number 9, Western Railway, headquarters at Mumbai. Zone number 10, South Western Railway, it headquarters at Hubli. Zone number 11, North Western Railway, its headquarters are at Jaipur. Zone number 12, West Central Railways, its headquarters are at Jabalpur. Zone number 13, North Central Railways, its headquarters are at Allahabad. Zone number 14, it is South East Central Railway, headquarters at our Bilaspur. Zone number 15, East Coast Railway, headquarters at Bhubaneswar. Zone number 16, East Central Railways, headquarters at Hajipur. And zone number 17, Kolkata Metro, is now the 17th zone of Indian Railways. Now, let us go to another topic, progress of Indian Railways. Indian railway system is the public undertaking in the country. Public undertaking here means a state-owned enterprise. It has about 16 lakh employees. It has undergone considerable, that is not about large in size, notably large in size, the improvement over the years. Diesel engine replaced the steam engines in 1950 to avoid the environmental pollution, as the steam engine ran on coal, so they caused a lot of pollution. At present, Diesel Locomotive Works DLW in Varanasi, UP, and Chittaranjan Locomotive Works in West Bengal and Locomotive Works in Jamshedpur, Jharkhand are producing diesel engines. Diesel engine also cause considerable, that is notably large in size, air pollution. Hence, to meet the growing pressure of traffic and goods, electrification of all the railway tracks was undertaken. In the electrification process, the preference was given to the high density section of the railway lines to enable greater speed and volume, that is number of trains running on a track. The distribution pattern of railway network is closely influenced, that is affected by the terrain or topography, that is landform, density of population, that is number of persons per square kilometer, minerals, fertility of land, arid and semi-arid, that is dry conditions. Priority, that is preference, has been assigned to conversion of meter gauge lines into broad gauge. Railway tracks are electrified, as I have already shown you in the picture also. Railways have specialized, that is it is expert in carrying over long distance heavy and bulky goods like coal, petrol, etc. Goods including containers. Most of the trains are electric and diesel locomotive. Locomotive here means part that pulls a train. Fast moving trains and public amenities, that is basic facilities at railway station, is introduced. Railways made a significant problem in the area of track replacement, that is to change over. Rajdhani and Shatabdi trains are introduced. This is the big achievement of the railways. Now Vande Bharat, the fastest moving train which runs at a speed of about 170 km per hour, has also been introduced in India. This picture shows that trains running on electricity. These pictures are showing the metro railway network in Delhi, Kolkata, Gurgaon, Mumbai and Noida. They have metro trains have eased daily commuting and reduced the travel time of local people. Now let us go to the advantages of railway transport. The rail transport is better organized than any other form of transport, as it has fixed route and schedules. Rail service is more certain, uniform, that is equal and regular as compared to other modes of transport. Railway speed over long distance is more than any other modes of transport except airways, as they are the fastest means of transport. Railway transport is economically quicker and best suited for carrying heavy and bulky goods over long distance like coal, petrol, etc. Moreover, its capacity of the railways is elastic, which can easily be increased by adding more wagons. That is, more number of coaches can be added if needed. It has cheaper mode of transport as compared to other modes of transport. Most of the working expenses of railways are in the nature of fixed cost. Railway is the safest form of transport. The chances of accident and breakdown of railways are minimum as compared to other modes of transport. Its largest public undertaking in the country, railways perform many public utility services. Railways provide administrative facilities to the government. The defense forces, that is, the departments dealing with the safety of our country, and the public servants drive their mobility primarily from the railways. Now let us read the advantages of railways from your book. India has the largest network of railways with a 1.2 lakh of total track length. Railways serve as the principal, that is main, mode of transport for both freight and passengers. They unite people from one corner of the land to the other, that is, they promote the national integrity. Railways serve as the cheapest mode of transport for heavy and bulky goods over long distance, for example, coal, iron ore, petrol and other raw materials. Railways connect the hinterland, that is land adjoining the sea, to the seaports, example, Mumbai cotton textile industries. Railways play an important role in the process of economic development and urbanization, that is, setting up of towns and cities. Railways promote integration within the states, example, connecting eastern states to west and northern to south. Railways help in agriculture development. It helps in transporting agriculture commodities, that is goods, the perishable goods, that rotten easily, non-perishable goods that cannot be rotten easily, to distant places, that is, they can carry these goods to the long distance or far off places. Similarly, other raw materials, that is fertilizers, the chemicals used for fertility of soil, is also sent by railways. Now this picture is showing the transportation of coal by the Indian Railways through the Mal trains on large quantities. Now let us proceed to next. Railways help in the administration of the country, that is, to govern itself or another. Also help in safeguarding, that is, saving its sovereignty. Sovereignty here refers to the authority of a state to govern itself or another state, and integrity, that is unity. It helps in easy movement of heavy defense equipment, that is the safety tools, soldiers, police and military within the country. Children, during the time of war, railways supply guns, tanks, army to the battlefield areas. It forms a major employment sector as lakhs of people are dependent upon railways for their livelihood, that is, they depend upon railways for their daily income. The construction and expansion of the railways have improved the economy of the country considerably, that is, it has raised the economy of the country. In the post-independence period, that is, the period following the attainment of independence, railways have helped in setting up of many industries in areas like Bhilai, Durgapur, Bokaro and Rourkela. Railways have played an important role in the development of cotton textile in Maharashtra. As I have already told you, that first cotton textile mill was set up in Maharashtra with the setting up of the first railway line between Mumbai to Thane in 1853. Jute industry in Hooghly Basin, iron and steel industry in West Bengal, tea plantation in Assam and petrochemical industry in West Bengal. Local trains are becoming increasingly important and in metro cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai. Mumbai has the best network of electrical suburban trains, that is, the local trains, which has been the best mode of transport for the past many decades. Kolkata and Delhi have the underground railways called metro. So, what are metro? The underground railways. It was constructed in different phases from 1972 to 1995. It has been a great achievement to the state governments. Superfast trains like Rajdhani Express and Shatabdi Express have been introduced to facilitate the fast movement of passengers. They move at the speed of nearly 100 kilometers per hour or more. Thus, they help people in reaching from one place to another within a very short span of time. Computerization in the field of ticketing has brought tremendous, that is, great relief to the passenger traveling by trains. Now one can book the tickets 3 months in advance online through internet instead of wasting hours of standing in long queues, that is, in long lines. So it saves the time of the passengers. Railways are more important in the northern plain as compared to northern India due to the following reasons. The flat land of northern Ganga plains, that is, the Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, with high density of population and rich agriculture output, provides ideal, that is, suitable conditions for the development of railways. However, due to the presence of rivers, number of bridges have to be constructed. In northern parts of India, due to hilly and rugged, that is, uneven topography, that is, landform, it is difficult to develop railway lines. Hence, here the road transport is more popular. I have already told you that the railways cannot reach the hilly areas and the remote areas easily. Now, this picture shows the booking of the rail tickets through mobiles. This is the special cargo trains introduced by the railways. These are the containerization of railways to carry more and more goods. Now let us go through the disadvantages of railway transport. The railways requires large investment of capital, that is, they need a large amount of money to be set up. The cost of construction, maintenance and overhead expenses are very high as compared to other modes of transport. Because of huge capital requirements and traffics, railways cannot be operated economically in rural areas, that is, they cannot be operated in villages easily. Another disadvantages of railway transport is its inflexibility, that is, its routes and timings cannot be adjusted to individual requirement, that is, according to the requirement of each and every passenger. Rail transport cannot provide door-to-door service as it is tied to a particular track. It can only leave you up to the nearest railway station. Because of centralized administration, local authorities fail to meet the personal requirements. Now let us read disadvantages of the Indian Railways from your book. Railways face a tough competition with road transport as roads can deliver the goods at the doorstep. That is, they can provide the door-to-door services, while for getting the railways you have to visit the railway station. Indian Railways is facing tremendous, that is, huge pressure of traffic with increasing population, urbanization, that is, setting up of towns and cities on a large scale, and industrialization, that is, the setting up of industries. It is unsafe due to poor maintenance, frequent accidents due to human errors, terrorist attacks and faulty tracks repairs, loots and robbery incidents have made the rail journey unsafe. So people are afraid of these loots and robberies, especially during the night time. Poor management, poor catering, that is, the provision of foods, poor maintenance of the main compartments, lack of amenities, that is, the basic facilities like clean toilets, clean drinking water facilities, and other safe and sound waiting rooms at the railway stations have resulted in an inefficient image of the railways in the eyes of the public. Changing policies and delay in implementing the decision taken by the central government affect the efficient running of the railways. Children, as we already know that the government keep on changing after a period of time. So when a new government comes, it forms its own policies or it launches its own plans, and the plans which were started by the previous government remains as it is. So as a result, there is delay in implementing the decisions and implementing the plans, which results in the inefficient running of the railways. This picture is showing the tremendous pressure on traffic on the railways. This picture is showing the tremendous pressure of goods on the railways. This picture is showing you the scene of a train crash. Now let us proceed further. Obsolete, that is old machinery, tracks and equipments can cause major accident, as the government, due to the shortage of funds, is not changing the old tracks from time to time, which needs to be mended, which affect the efficiency over a period of time. This also affects the traffic as people lose faith in the system. Electrification of railways, which is a major achievement of railways, has resulted in heavy increase in consumption of electricity and increased tariff rates, that is the fare charges. Railways also consume a lot of diesel. The increase in prices adversely, that is badly, affect the finances of the railway department, as the railway department has to spend a lot of money on getting this diesel, and using the lot of electricity is creating the electricity shortage to the industries. Out of lakhs of employees from the railways, majority are unskilled and untrained, that is they do not know about their work well. They are inefficient, that is they are not trained and not dedicated to the services. This also affects the public opinion and leads to unnecessary problems like delay in running of the trains and inconvenience to the public. Lack of passenger facilities, cleanliness at the railway station, in rail compartments. Whenever we travel, we can see that the people are using the toilets again and again, due to which they are not cleaned regularly as they should be cleaned. So it leads to the bad image of the railways in the eyes of the people. And lack of security arrangements are the other problems faced by the common man. So this is the inconvenience caused to the passengers due to the delay of trains. The people are waiting at the railway platform for their trains. Now, as we know that the railways are the principal mode of bulky goods and passenger, with the total railways network of 65,000 plus kilometer, but it has to undergo various problems faced by the Indian railways, like passengers without tickets, damaging railways properties, stealing railways properties. What do people do? They pluck off the iron rods which are there in the railway trains, and they sell it. The major problem is the passengers traveling without the tickets. Now let us read these problems from your book. Obsolete trains, that is old tracks and equipments, that is tools, make railways unsafe. Electrification of railways has resulted in huge consumption, that is use of power, and higher tariff, that is fare rates. Many of the workers are inefficient and unproductive, that is they are untrained, and as a result they cannot give as much as work they should give. Lack of facilities and cleanliness discourage passengers to travel by the train. Railways cannot be laid in hilly areas or in the remote, that is inaccessible or forested region, as there is a risk of laying the railway tracks in these regions. Trains cannot provide door-to-door service, that is they cannot reach our doorstep like the roadways, and therefore the goods and passengers have to rely, that is they have to trust on road transport to reach their destination. The different gates makes a smooth, uninterrupted. This picture shows the old railway trains and tracks, and this shows the lack of cleanliness in trains. I hope that through this video you have learnt about the railways, the advantages, their disadvantages, the railway zones, its management and its problems. Now children, revise the topic again you have learned today from your textbook and solve the related back exercises. Thank you.